Hi guys, right, let's do this. So sorry guys, a bit of a delay. I'm not going to lie to you, this is complicated. I have to keep reading it and reading it, and I'm trying to absorb it. Yeah, so it isn't straightforward, it's quite complicated. Emily, I'm a little confused how Bridget ended up with Colonel Parker's lot. Bridget, being quite young, in her 40s, would have been a teen at the time. I'm a little confused how Bridget has ended up with Colonel Parker's lot. Bridget, no, yeah, I think you've got, Emily, I think you've got the wrong end of the stick, yeah? So don't forget, when Jack Sodden and EPE acquired all of Colonel Tom Parker's collection for 1.25 million, that's 1990. Don't confuse that with what's happening now, yeah? Bridget's involvement, to me, is two things. She's tried to go to auction and make money with these items, allegedly auctioning them, and maybe Priscilla's helping her. Yeah, it's all about making money. She doesn't own them. She's trying to sell them on behalf of Thomas MacDonald, who was Greg MacDonald's Greg MacDonald was his father, and he was friends with the Colonel for most of his life. Yeah. Now, how Greg got these items, we don't know. We don't know. Yeah. So, let's try and reverse everything. So originally there is this massive amount of items that belong to Colonel Tom Parker. In my opinion, they were leases. They were leases. Yes, Elvis's stuff, Elvis memorabilia, letters, documents, sensitive documents, jewelry, and many other things. For some reason, Colonel Tom Parker has built up massive warehouses of these items. Elvis Presley Enterprises, who were also headed partly by Priscilla, decide they want to buy them, even though really these were Lisa's items. Yeah, they shouldn't have belonged to the Colonel, in my opinion. But okay, Priscilla, back in 1990, she's running the show. Elvis Presley Enterprises is like a big Hoover. It's sucking everything up. Yeah, it's pulling back all, it's pulling back everything, isn't it? It's like a big Hoover saying, if anyone wants to make any money concerning Elvis Presley, it's going to go through EPE. Yeah, and part of that was making sure that they own the artifacts, the memorabilia, the documents, and Colonel Tom Parker's massive collection was part of that. Yeah, so they do the deal. Jack Sodden's involved. 1.25 million. Elvis Presley Enterprises now owns everything that Colonel Tom Parker owns. Now this is the grey area. Years later, somehow Greg MacDonald still has a massive collection that he's trying to sell. Greg MacDonald has died, so now his son is trying to sell them. Bridget Kruse is involved in that process. We've got a video of Bridget with Greg MacDonald before he died discussing these items. Yeah? Now, the bit I showed in part 1 of this video is that Bridget did know about these items, that they belonged to Elvis Presley Enterprises, that they were possibly Colonel Tom Parker's, part of Colonel Tom Parker's collection that Elvis Presley Enterprises bought in 1990. So Bridget was aware that there was a question concerning ownership of Greg MacDonald's possessions, Elvis's things. Now it does seem that Bridget did approach Graceland's EPE, Angie Marquet, and discuss these items and say, oh, look, I'm just letting you know these items exist, a few years ago. a few years later, it seems, just alleged for entertainment purposes, that Bridget now is involved in selling these items through her auction company on behalf of Thomas McDonald, and Priscilla may be involved, maybe just allegedly writing letters to authenticate these items to increase their value. Okay, I don't know if that makes sense, but to me, a YouTube channel aligning herself with Bridget Kruse is a problem, because remember, the YouTube channel, the female YouTube channel, is allegedly an Elvis fan, Elvis and Lisa defender. Yeah. Now, Bridget, I think, allegedly, maybe before she fell out with Priscilla, committed wrongdoing towards Elvis and Lisa and Riley, including being involved in selling their items, but not just that, in negotiating terms with Riley Keough after Lisa died, in helping Priscilla contest Lisa Marie's wishes in the trust that all her belongings go to Riley, Finley and Harper and Benjamin. So there's a possibility that before Priscilla and Bridget fell out, Bridget was really trying her best to help go against Lisa's wishes and encourage and help the negotiating of where Priscilla will be buried in the meditation garden. There's just the possibility here that Bridget was not Team Elvis before she fell out with Priscilla. Because don't forget, Bridget has been approaching different YouTube channels, trying to make us or encourage us to see her point of view and feel sorry for her. Yeah? But what I always did say, even though I actually found Bridget very polite and friendly, and I think we were very kind to Bridget, what we had to take into account was what went on before Bridget and Priscilla fell out. This is really, really important, because Bridget wants us to support her and help her. Bridget, thank you, Pat. Pat's just bought me a coffee. Thank you very much. Very kind. Guys, anyone that buys me a coffee, that is very kind of you. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Yeah, it's your way of thanking me. I tell you what, this has took a lot of time. This has researching this, a lot of time. So I'm very grateful for anyone that gets me a coffee. It's very kind. Pat, you're the best. Thank you. So this is my point. So we as fans, remember, we are here to defend Elvis, Lisa and the bloodline. That's why we're here. We're not here for any other reason. We fully support Elvis, Lisa Marie, the bloodline. We want to expose the wrongdoing. We're here to defend Elvis all day long. Bridget doesn't have that. Bridget is an auctioneer. She's a businesswoman. She's an entrepreneur. She wants to make money. She obviously saw Priscilla as an opportunity to make money, and they've been making money for years. They've now fallen out. We know about the lawsuits. We now also know about Elvis Presley Enterprises have got a problem with Bridget because they feel that Bridget has been selling items that do not belong to the owners of these items. So Bridget is an auctioneer. She'll get a percentage. Yeah? The items don't belong to Bridget. They'll belong to Thomas McDonald, for example, who was Greg's son. Greg has passed away. Greg was good friends with Colonel Tom Parker. Okay, that's how he got these items. So Graceland's EPE are basically saying, oi, stop selling our stuff. We want it back. And they've served a lawsuit. Okay, so I want to show you a couple of bits that show that Bridget knew these items possibly did not belong to Greg McDonald, Thomas McDonald. Yeah. So I've got a couple of videos. I also want to show another video. So Priscilla at some point starts boasting around the world in news interviews. Oh, look, we found this secret collection. No one knew about it. It's been hidden away. And look what we found. But what I'm saying to you is, allegedly, Priscilla, she's trying to tell the world that these items, no one knew about them. Oh, we've discovered them. Yeah. But really, Priscilla did know, because Priscilla was involved in purchasing these items in 1990. When Elvis Presley Enterprises bought these items off Colonel Tom Parker, this massive collection, 3 lorry loads, giant lorries, Priscilla was involved in the purchasing of those items with Elvis Presley Enterprises. This is before Elvis Presley Enterprises got sold off, yeah? So Priscilla knows that these items were Lisa's. Remember, anything Priscilla does was on behalf of Lisa. These items that EPE bought off Colonel Tom Parker for 1.25 million, they were Lisa's. They were Lisa's. It was Dad's stuff, yeah? Priscilla knew it. So now, years later, Priscilla is involved in selling these items with Bridget Kruse. She's helping her sell them, allegedly. Just an opinion. This is the double crossing. This is where what Priscilla should have done, Priscilla should have gone, oh, that's my daughter's items. They belong to my daughter. But she didn't do that. Instead, it seems she helps Bridget start to auction them off to make money. So Priscilla seems to be more interested in making more money than saying to EPE, hang on a minute, we bought these items in 1990. I hope that's clear. I hope that's clear. So, right, let me press play on this video a minute. Here we go, guys. Even I bloody get confused. Right. Okay, dude. Hang on a minute. Oops.
And we have pieces, of course, Loanne Parker. Loanne Parker.
Right, sorry, start again. Here we go.
Passed, and a certain person had taken it and kept it away and hid it for a while. And we found it. And because of that, it's all laid out and all exposed now. Well, it brings back memories for sure. You know, Elvis loved jewelry, we all know. But the rings here and the pieces really bring joy. He has a lighter here that I absolutely loved, and I remember quite well. And we have pieces, of course, here that I remember very well, him not knowing exactly what to give, and then we would pick out the pieces together. So, yeah, Elvis loved jewelry. There's no doubt about it. He loved jewelry.
Never met anyone like you.
The guys, so it's just a typical, you know, Priscilla Presley thing here. Oh, look, I'm the protector of Elvis. I preserve Elvis's legacy. Yeah, Elvis is only remembered because of me. Oh, and look what I've now found. I found a secret collection that we felt that had been completely lost, and I've discovered it. Well, the truth is that collection really, some would say, is stolen, allegedly, because that collection was bought by EPE in 1990, and Priscilla was involved in the process of buying that collection from Colonel Tom Parker in 1990. So she knew these items are Lisa's, yeah? So instead, you know, years later, instead of stopping Bridget from allowing these items to be sold in her auction, she gets involved and helps, and actually takes credit for finding the items when these items actually probably belonged to Greg MacDonald, given to him by Colonel Tom Parker, which means they weren't Greg MacDonald's, they were actually Colonel Tom Parker's. Well, if Colonel Tom Parker had these items, they were Elvis's. You get it? Let's keep going. This is all alleged.
I hope not. Colonel did not like jewelry, did not wear jewelry, and Elvis was always giving him jewelry. And this is part of that collection. Now, he may have worn it maybe when Elvis was around every once in a while, but yes, Elvis picked them out himself, and I think that's the most important part for me, is that he actually picked the rings out, or the pieces out. I designed it going to Memphis, LA to Memphis. We were sitting on the plane, and that's when he said, I need something for TCB. So at that time, there was a lightning storm, and lightning went across the window to the plane, and I put the lightning bolt on it, and then I put TCB above it. So I said to him after I finished, is this what you mean? And he loved it. I want people, fans, people who love it, know that it is authentic. There's so much product out there.
So, let me just pause that. So on a separate note, is that how the lightning bolt TCB logo was created? You tell me, guys, because now I dispute anything that Priscilla says now. I dispute. So did she create the lightning bolt? It sounds too good to be true that they're trying to decide the name of, they're trying to decide this logo, for this piece of jewelry. They're on an aeroplane or something. And then while they're trying to make the decision, a lightning bolt comes and she goes, oh, let's call it TCB and put a lightning bolt through it. Is that true? Guys, you tell me. Is that how the logo was thought up? Did Priscilla think up the logo of the TCB? I don't know. I don't know, guys. Anyway, let's stick to the topic. So this is just a usual thing that Priscilla is taking credit by finding these lost items when the truth is they could actually be stolen, and these items probably already should have been in the possession of Elvis Presley Enterprises, because in 1990, Priscilla and EPE bought these items back. So there's a possibility that Priscilla actually knows that these items belong to EPE, belong to Lisa Marie. But years later, she's trying to make money by helping Bridget auction them through the auction company, and make a commission, make some money. Again, I keep saying it, guys. It's all money making, money making. It's all money making. Right, okay. Next video. Now, I think this is going to be very interesting, guys. Let's get it up. So now we do have a Bridget Kruse video. This is Bridget Kruse. Let's get it up. Let's have a look. We've got a Bridget Kruse video that shows her meeting Greg McDonald and discussing these items. We're just going to listen to it. This is Bridget Kruse in the video. So I'm trying to show you, guys, that there's a possibility, just alleged, for entertainment purposes only, that Bridget knew these items. Huh? Do you know, I don't know, pass the tape. Sorry, my wife wants some tape. So there's a possibility that Bridget Kruse knew that these items really should have been in the hands of EPE, because they were bought in 1990. Remember, we've shown you proof, and I've got more proof, that Bridget Kruse had been speaking to EPE and Angie Marquis, saying to them, oh, do you know about these items? That I think they're part of the collection that you purchased off Colonel Tom Parker in 1990. This was earlier. So a few years later, Bridget Kruse is now involved in helping Greg McDonald, Thomas McDonald, with the help of Priscilla, maybe, allegedly, to sell these items to make money. Yeah? So let's click on it.
This letter was from the Colonel. Yes, it was.
Now, it's quite quiet, guys, so you've got to listen carefully, okay?
This is a very interesting letter.
Now, they don't want those letters to come out.
I can see why.
I have 200 of them. They know I have them, but remember, they hire me, and I get along great with them. After my little confrontation with Joel Weinchecker, who actually been pretty friendly, and he's not my favorite, anybody's favorite. He is such a pain in the butt. Before COVID, they were making a fortune. They were making, the hotel was such a hit, the guest house.
From June to September.
Right. So in this video, this is on a different channel. Let me just see if I can see the name of the channel. It is called. Let's see if we can click on it. The channel is called How the Web Was Woven. Okay. So this is their video. Okay. Let's go back
This
to
letter
it.
was from the Colonel. Yes, it was.
Hold on a minute. So in this channel, let me make it bigger. There are some WhatsApp messages. Now it says here Angela Michaels, but Bridget Kruse uses Angela Michaels as a name for her WhatsApp, I think. So they're more just discussing. So that the Vernon letters are very sensitive and should be. Oh, I see what it is. It's Angie She's talking to Angie Marquise. Yeah. The Vernon letters are very sensitive and should be returned immediately. So I'm guessing this is Angie Marquise saying she wants them back. This is also showing that Bridget is trying to help Angie Marquise get these things back. Yeah.
You see in the, Bridget, you see letters, Vernon letters?
Yes, that's actually what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah,
are the
because those
Vernon
are pretty
letters.
interesting. He went to the 3rd grade, and you'll understand when you read the letters.
Yeah,
And he was always on the Colonel's side. You'll see he was angry at Elvis at all those letters. He never was mad at the Colonel. He was. You'll read those. He was very disappointed that Elvis had spent his money.
What year
We'd
did
have
the
to get
Colonel
more
get
money.
involved?
1954 or 55
Okay.
through 77.
And what
But
was
you'll see
your-
Vernon's always on the Colonel's side.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about the amount of influence the Colonel had in 1960-61? Was it absolute?
You know, yeah.
Do you think the Colonel would have known about anything that went on?
I think he knew everything that went on. In later years, the Colonel didn't like to get into Elvis's personal life. He really didn't like that. And in the beginning, he had to because they were so green. They didn't know what day it was, you know. And he was a sweetheart. Elvis was a sweetheart. Vernon was okay. Vernon was just not.
So the guy talking is Greg McDonald. He's just out of sight, but that's the guy talking. Okay, yeah, the video's turned, but it doesn't really matter. Now he's passed, but remember, he's the person that is using Bridget, he's basically out there trying to find an auctioneer that will sell these items. Yeah. But someone said that he's very unwell, so he doesn't have long. Eventually, his son Thomas McDonald takes over. So let's keep listening.
He was not capable of handling Elvis's money. That's just the truth of it. Elvis only trusted him. And we all knew that cash and the NFT, that's the guy doing it. That's those. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Be careful.
I didn't do anything. I've been talking to Kevin. I haven't done anything.
Kevin
They
will
made
guide
me-
you. He'll give you great advice. I mean, he understands that world pretty well. So I would say you're in very, very good hands to follow Kevin's lead. Absolutely.
They're chasing me about Elvis because I have the right
Right.
to use Elvis's name, likeness, image, voice, and signature.
Right.
I think just because you own a piece of Elvis memorabilia, you can't go start doing.
No.
You can't do an NFT and make like a security out of it.
No, you can't.
You can sell it to another person. You can say this belonged to Elvis Presley. I just read Section 990 of the California Code this morning again. Everybody, they can have tons of it.
No, what makes an NFT valuable is its origin.
Its origin, and that's exactly right.
And that's why yours are going to be so valuable to Atlantic Records or whoever you decide to go with, because they understand the origin. It's no different than the Esposito files or the Moon Collection. You know, all that stuff was put together by J.D. Sumner. So see, it's the origin of where these documents came from. That's what makes it valuable.
So, you know, Bridget is giving advice, isn't she? So don't forget, at this point, Greg, I think, is approaching different people to try and sell these items. Yeah? he even says he's got rights to image and likeness, which I'm not sure about. But there's a deal trying to happen here. There's negotiating here. Okay.
Kind of a different situation
But
because you have the rights.
Advertising it is
Right.
you could own it for sure and say it was JD's. JD was a close friend of mine. Very close. I had a
He
lot of
was really
JD's.
close to our family
Oh,
too. He taught my Uncle Dean's son how to sing, and he's a pastor in a church now.
Really?
Yeah.
JD
was a piece of work. I
Yes,
remember
he
him
was.
telling stories about how some guy, and I know the guy ironically, that used to buy all of his Elvis stuff because he used to sell it in one place. I remember one day, I must have been 4 or 5 years old, JD was standing there joking about how some schmuck had really paid him too little for what he felt he sold him, and he felt a little bit taken advantage of. And he stood there in open air and told the story about, I needed some new office furniture. He goes, I took him to my office and I said, that set belonged to Elvis Presley. He goes, it didn't, but that was okay. I needed new furniture.
Oh, JD? Oh, yeah.
I was like, really? I mean, I was look through those. I'm surprised they showed up. Everybody's so afraid to talk to us. I mean, it's really, I've had to kick open some doors that, I'm putting my career on the line.
Doesn't he have photos of himself as a child?
Yes,
He
that's
does.
what we're going to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what, there's a photo in there. Well, I don't know how much, they've had so many, they always fight, but they
That's what
don't,
we'll end up
I've
doing.
never seen them really do anything.
From a legal perspective, I can understand the reluctance.
Let me tell you what's been going on for years. They fought early on. Jack Soden, they had a group of lawyers spending all their money on lawyers fighting like Elvis tribute artists. So they decided to license them all for a while. That failed because chasing them down for the money cost more than they were earning. Then they fought a guy over Elvis's name, likeness, and image violation in London
That was a long time ago.
and lost. They lost.
That's a guy from Germany, isn't it?
That's right. Since then, they send a lot of nasty letters, but you go look and see if you can find a real lawsuit where they went to court. They don't do it because they're afraid Elvis is going to become public domain if they, Elvis is pretty common in the lexicon of our world. And for them to hold it this many years,
We're on the same page.
the Colonel owned Elvis's name, likeness, and image. Our sale settlement agreement, 1983, transferred the Colonel, actually owned it personally, to them. And I have a different set of rights because the Colonel had it all Colonel to me. Colonel settled with them, but they don't ever want to violate that settlement agreement. I'll say, okay, all bets are off. We went 50% back in 1983. They're never going to mess with it.
No, they're never. And the guy in Germany isn't going to cooperate.
But see,
So it's a fly. It's a fly on the wall stuff happening here. I think the point of me playing this is just to show you guys that there's an intent here from Bridget to maybe her auction company, alleged, to help sell these items. Now, remember what we've already said. Bridget had already been, is chatting with Angie Marquis, saying, oh, I know where these items are. I can help you get them back. Alleged. Yeah? So we've seen the WhatsApp posts that were earlier where Angie Marquis and Bridget are talking to each other. Now, later, Bridget starts selling these items, which is why there's a lawsuit. EPE are suing Bridget and her associates for auctioning these items, and they've actually been sold, some of them, and they've put a cease and desist. Is that what it's called? Basically, that they're not, these items that were won in her auction are not allowed to be delivered to the buyers, the purchasers, because there's a possibility these items belonged to EPE and were part of Colonel Tom Parker's 1990 collection that was sold for 1.25 million. So this is dodgy dealing, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes. This is all about making money. Everyone in that room is there to make money. Bridget, Greg, I think Kevin might be there, Bridget's associate. It's a fly on the wall stuff, isn't it, guys?
1980, well, he didn't. He won. Yeah. He won.
guess after.
Can I borrow your eyes for a second?
They don't go to court. They don't want to go to court because they're scared to death. One day some judge is going to say, forget about all this. Elvis is public domain. He belongs to everybody. That would be their, they'd still own Graceland. And they still.
Right, let's just read this. So you've got Angie Marquet. She says, what I'm doing in this video is reviewing the hundreds of thousands of scanned documents in a hard drive. He scanned every piece of paper in the collection and everything is chronologically or in order. I personally reviewed the whole collection. Then it says, Vernon letters are very sensitive and should be returned immediately. So Angie Marquis wants these things back, yeah? Above, all above are confidential and are intellectual property. So they belong to EPE. Obviously we know Angie Marquis is in charge of it all. So this is just a picture. I've already read this out on part 1. This shows the purchase from EPE in 1990 when they bought Colonel Tom Parker's collection, these 3 giant lorries of items, memorabilia, jewelry, letters, documents. It goes on and on and on. This was a massive collection that Colonel Tom Parker sold to EPE. Priscilla must have been involved in this. Because she was running EPE with her associate, with the other executors. Right, let's read this. I do my best. I have a pretty good relationship with her. Regarding the collection, those videos I gave Priscilla are more than enough for S&D as well as demand for immediate return. He admits to knowing of the theft and briefly talks about what the collection consists of. I also supplied the address where the artifacts are being held. He further states all EPE got back was a bunch of fan mail. Please do what you can. I don't like these types of situations and try to stay out of things like this. I decided to share due to it being the right thing to do. Please let Jack know that I turned over the videos. I believe there are 9 clips. And so this is, to me, this is Bridget Kruse earlier on talking with EPE and Angie Marquis, basically saying, giving them information, saying, look, these items, these artifacts are yours, belong to EPE. So Bridget is sort of saying, there's theft here, isn't she? She's sort of saying, tell Jack Sodden, I've given him the wink, I've given him the nod, that these items, someone's trying to sell them and they're not, Thomas McDonald are trying to sell these items, but they belong to EPE. So there was a point when Bridget knew these items belonged to EPE. Yeah, Priscilla would have known because she would have been there when the purchase was made. The 1.25 million was given to Colonel Tom Parker for these items. Priscilla was involved in that process because she was part of EPE. She was, at this point, EPE was 100% Graceland. Yeah. So Priscilla knows about this. So years later, for Priscilla to be involved with Bridget selling these items, maybe even writing letters of authenticity for these items in auction, it's dodgy, guys. It's dodgy. What Priscilla should have done is thought, hang on a minute, these items belong to my daughter. Because ultimately, these items are her daughter's. So instead of Priscilla putting her daughter first, oh, actually, these items belong to my daughter, Lisa, she's trying to make money with Bridget and sell them and get her commission. She's telling, in my opinion, lying on shows, saying, oh, look, this long lost collection that we've just found, she's taken full credit for finding this long lost collection, which it wasn't. it wasn't a long lost collection. This is the stuff, allegedly, that Colonel Tom Parker sold to EPE. Yeah, so let's see if I can find that video again, guys. You know, I'll just play, if I can find it, I'll just play. It doesn't really matter. It's the bit I played at the beginning of this video that is basically saying, oh, look what we found. Wow, we found this collection that's been missing for years, you know? It's all a blag. It's all a lie, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes. The truth is, this stuff, it could be stolen. EPE, what they're saying, Elvis Presley Enterprises, are suing Bridget and her associates, I guess, because the stuff that has been sold in the auction, in GWS auctions, is stolen, belongs to Elvis Presley Enterprises. Or, if you listen to Greg McDonald, who has now passed, his son, Thomas McDonald, he's saying, no, these items were given to my father before the deal was done in 1990, which is possible. There is a possibility that Colonel Tom Parker gave these items to Greg McDonald before the deal was done with Elvis Presley Enterprises. We have to weigh that in. That is a possibility. Right. So we've got a little bit more to discuss with Bridget Kruse. I'm going to check your comments first. Right. So let's have a look. Where is I want to get something up, guys. Not that. Let's have a look. So somebody, one of my sources, has sent me this. So a YouTube channel, no, a Facebook page called Rockology. Rockology. So this discusses Bridget Kruse. Yeah. Now, I'm going to read this out. I want you to know, guys, this is not my opinion. This is somebody else's opinion. I'm going to read it out. This is their views of what may have gone on concerning Bridget Kruse and GWS auctions. Okay? But before I do that, let's read your comments. Okay. Yeah, you talk about, I think with the necklace, guys, with the TCB logo, I think we're going to do a completely separate show just for that. Just for that. We're going to discuss that. Okay, let's read it. So this is the last part of what I wanted to say, reading this out. So we are going to be able to wrap this up with a part 2, which is good. So let's read this out. Okay, right. Let's do it. So the person that runs this YouTube channel, no, Facebook channel, this is his words. Okay, so it's to do with the sale of an eyelet jumpsuit and more. So I'm reading this for the second time only, so I'm learning as I go. Okay. So I've been on the phone with several high rollers this evening regarding Saturday's GWS auctions regarding the supposed sale of Elvis eyelet jumpsuit cape, Elvis film worn pieces, etc. The verdict is still out regarding if the Elvis jumpsuit is real as Bridget Kruse. Right, so remember, so this is Bridget Kruse's auction, GWS auction, has a history of fabricating sales and supposedly existed but never actually happened at auction. The EP Desert Jet, the EP 1976 motorcycle. See my previous blog. So if you want to look it up, it's Rockology on Facebook. This is his words. On press release generated by Bridget Kruse, GWS were touting world record sales that never actually happened. So I don't know. I'd have to look up the jet sale. I do remember reading about Bridget Kruse did say that she had sold the jet. I do remember reading that, but I'm not saying it's fact. This is just we're just having a discussion here, just alleged chat. So the bidder I spoke with this evening several savvy auction bidders are convinced they will shield. So shield is a term, we'll go into it, I'll read a bit more. They were not bidding against a fellow collector, but were bidding against the auction house who were bidding on their consigned items. Auctioneers have gone to prison for this practice. Google documented cases of shilling. So to me, shield is a way of the auctioneer secretly boosting the price that it sells for by having people there bidding that aren't actually bidders. It's very illegal. Yeah. So now to answer the previous post, T's title on how GWS auctions, the FBI, Priscilla Presley, Benjamin Keogh and Elvis Eyelet jumpsuits are connected. Right. Unfortunately, this is not a trivia question, but a sad commentary of a soulless, narcissistic, unstable person, in my opinion, meaning rockology. Yeah. He obviously don't like her. Bridget Kruse at GWS auctions when Benjamin Keogh committed suicide. So I was discussing this in part 1. So you have to go over to part 1 to understand this. I want to speak about this very sensitively because God rest his soul, Benjamin. Obviously, I don't want to talk about Benjamin's suicide and those horrible circumstances, what poor Lisa went through and what Riley and the twins are still going through. So I'd rather not talk about this, but I think we have to. Yeah. So I say this with respect to Lisa, to Riley, to Finley and Harper. Yeah. And to any family members that are affected by Benjamin's suicide. When Benjamin Keogh committed suicide, Bridget Kruse told me that she saw an opportunity to get the attention of Priscilla Presley. Now, that in itself, that one sentence is very concerning. Bridget Kruse told me she saw an opportunity to get the attention of Priscilla Presley. So what, guys, anything to make money. Anything to make money. Remember, I keep saying this. All of this is about money. Whether it be the way that Bridget approached Priscilla and they became friends, where they eventually made money, which will be mentioned in this write-up, by the way. It does seem, allegedly, that Bridget had a plan how to meet Priscilla, how to bump into Priscilla. It was always about making money. It was very conniving. Yeah. And again, she's doing it now. Poor Benjamin passes away, horrible circumstances, suicide. Bridget sees it as an opportunity to get the attention of Priscilla Presley. Why? To make money. So we're showing a side to Bridget that is very businesslike, an entrepreneur, very opportunistic, anything for money. Now, the one thing I will say about Priscilla is Priscilla, that's a new word. The one thing I'll say about Bridget, not Bridget, not Priscilla. That's the first time I've ever said that. Priscilla. That's Bridget and Priscilla, one word. Where did that come from? Bridget. I don't even know where that came from. Now, Bridget, you probably will watch this show at some point. Yeah. Now, Bridget, I haven't got it in for you. Yeah. I actually still want you to beat Priscilla on this lawsuit. Yeah. Because I think Priscilla needs to be put in her place. Yeah. But you have to understand, Bridget Kruse, I'm talking to you directly. We are Elvis fans. We are Lisa Marie fans. We love Elvis. We love Lisa Marie. We love Finley. We love Riley and Harper. We love the bloodline. I'm not making loads of money doing this. Yeah. This is a YouTube channel that defends Elvis and Lisa and the bloodline. So you did come to our channel. You joined my channel many times. You wanted us to see your point of view. You wanted us to feel sorry for you, to understand what you're going through. I agree that lawsuits are mind-blowing and you can't sleep when you have a lawsuit. I completely take on board, Bridget Kruse, that what you're going through is hell. Yeah? And this whole thing for you is a nightmare. Is a nightmare for Bridget. But there's a line. If you cross a line where it's anything to make money, then, and it affects Elvis, his reputation, his belongings, Lisa, her reputation, her belongings, Benjamin, Riley, Finley, Harper. When you cross the line, that's when we step in. Defending Elvis, fans want the truth. And I have to say, Bridget, that it's not fair that you expect the Elvis fans to support you when there has been wrongdoing on your part, alleged wrongdoing, concerning many things, not just the auctioning of items that actually could be stolen with the help of Priscilla, allegedly, but also your involvement with disputing Lisa Marie's wishes on the trust, the amendments to the trust, helping Priscilla with the negotiations with Riley. You know, eventually there was a settlement, the $1 million, the legal fees, and many other things, the $100,000 a year, the burial, the plot, you know, the possibility of Priscilla being buried at the meditation garden. All of these things really concern the fans. The fans are really worried and upset. Even just the fact that Priscilla would go against her own daughter that had recently died. Yeah? Don't forget, Priscilla has carried on life as if nothing's changed. That's the truth of it. It's very strange to me. I don't understand it. And it does seem that you were helping Priscilla a lot to go against Lisa's wishes. Yeah? You were really helping Priscilla in ways that Elvis fans would not like. So if you ask me the question of Louis on defending Elvis Presley with Team Elvis, why are you exposing me? Because what we're doing here, Bridget, is we're exposing our alleged thoughts of your misconduct concerning the legacy of Elvis, Lisa, and the living members, Riley, Finley, and Harper. So it's very difficult for you to expect us to support you. Remember, you went on the female YouTube channel's show. I won't mention her name. And you asked us to send you questions to an email address, promising us that you would answer all our questions. And you haven't done it, but you were sent many questions. The YouTube channel made it very clear. Send the questions to this email address, and then one day you will do a YouTube channel responding to all these questions. But not just that. You did tell us many times that you've got secrets on Priscilla that you were going to tell us about that no one knows. You told us you were going to expose Priscilla. You never have. Bridget, I say to you, you haven't fulfilled your promises, Bridget. You said, send me the questions, I'll tell you some dirt on Priscilla. You never did it. You haven't fulfilled your promises, but you still expect people like us, Elvis fans, Elvis YouTube channels, Elvis subscribers, call them what you want, to support you and to try and feel sorry for you. You want us as Elvis fans to see you as the victim. But what about what you did wrong to Elvis and his legacy, his bloodline, before you fell out with Priscilla? So my answer to your question of, Louis, why are you doing these shows against me? My answer is very simple. Because we're not happy with what went on with you and Priscilla before you fell out. I repeat, we're not happy with what went on with you and Priscilla before you fell out. But also, we're not happy that you have possibly got involved, allegedly, in the sale of stolen items that belong to EPE, belong to Graceland, ultimately should have belonged to Lisa Marie. Obviously, she's passed. So maybe belong to Riley, Finley and Harper. So that is my answer to you. It can't be. We can't see everything from your point of view. We do feel that you've been not completely honest with us. Yeah? You're giving us your version of events, your side of events. You're not taking into account that we are Elvis fans, that we're here for Lisa. We're here for Riley, Finley and Harper. So you're a businesswoman, and your main purpose that really stands out is you want to make money. This is all about money. We, the fans, are not here for money. We're not here because it's all about money. We're here to defend Elvis and Lisa Marie and the bloodline. That is why we're here. Okay? So, anyway, I hope I've explained myself, Bridget. And I will say this to you, Bridget. There's no hate here. There is no hate. All right, let's have a look. Right, okay, let me just carry on reading this. Right, so, guy, this is what I'm going to read to you guys is very worrying. Okay, let me just check your comments. Oh, hi, Amy. Amy's just joined us. Right, let me just have a look. Amy's one of our researchers. Hi, Amy. We're discussing the possible wrongdoing of Bridget Kruse concerning auction items, the possibility that Priscilla was involved. Okay. And we're all talking about the long lost, so-called long lost collection of Colonel Tom Parker's items that he had, this massive collection that he sold to EPE in 1990. So we're trying to understand Bridget Kruse's involvement in that, the possibility that she knew these items were stolen, still tried to sell them, the possibility that she tried to tell Angie Marquet about these items years ago and seems to have forgotten, and then now went on to selling them. But the other thing, we're discussing Rockology's post here that says that when Benjamin, okay, that what the lost collection, that's it. So that when Benjamin passed, Bridget Kruse saw an opportunity. When Benjamin committed suicide, God rest his soul, Bridget Kruse saw an opportunity on how to get to know Lisa Marie. Yeah. Oh, I could do. Well, I'll read it. Okay. So when Benjamin Q committed suicide, Bridget Kruse told me she saw an opportunity to get the attention of Priscilla Presley by auctioning off a luncheon or something similar with Priscilla involved. Per Bridget, the proceeds would go towards a charity regarding suicide prevention. That's all fine and good, except Bridget made it clear to me she didn't care so much about Benjamin's death. Now, these are not my words. These are Rockology's words. I mean, I find that a very cold thing to say, so I find it hard to believe that Bridget would not care about his death. I want to be honest. I don't see that Bridget would be that cold, but that's just me being me, yeah? I always see the good in people, okay? As to her, it was an opportunity to solidify Priscilla as an endorser of sorts for a GWS auction of Elvis memorabilia. By Priscilla agreeing to the auction of the luncheon, it would appear that she was endorsing GWS. Yeah, so she sees an opportunity of endorsing her auction company. Yeah, GWS, Elvis memorabilia. The first problem is Bridget attempted to contact Lisa Marie. Lisa Marie blew her off. So Lisa Marie was not interested. And rightfully so. Imagine the conversation. Hey, Lisa, up to auction yourself, off to have lunch with the fans, and money goes to the suicide prevention program in your son's name. Lisa would be left wide open to answer questions about Ben to fans that potentially would have no couth, let alone she would not be emotionally prepared to endure such a request. Bridget at one point claimed EPE wanted her to be their auctioneer when they were in the auction business, but then she stated EPE would never return her calls regarding Priscilla. Right, okay, so I have heard this before. I think at some point, Gracelands EPE did used to run some auctions, didn't they? So I can see that Bridget sees that as an opportunity. Maybe she could represent Graceland's EPE as an auctioneer. She sees it as an opportunity. Maybe. I'm just thinking out loud, yeah? So rule number 1 about lying. Remember the first lie so you don't trip yourself up. In the second lie, Bridget proceeded to tell me that she was going to hang out at a clothing store. Now, this is the very telling bit. Now, I don't know if this is true. This is Rockology's opinion. She was going to hang out at a clothing store she knew Priscilla frequented as a friend owned the shop, and she planned to casually run into her to strike up a conversation. Fast forward, somehow Priscilla got bamboozled and agreed to the luncheon. Thus, the luncheon with Priscilla in Saturday's auction that had the eyelet suit up for bid. So this is the jumpsuit, yeah? Most disgusting, though, is the attempting to capitalize on a victim of depression and ultimately suicide with the luncheon meet and greet. If you actually give a damn, write a check to organization. Equally disturbing, in my opinion, is when someone claims to have cancer when they actually do not. So that isn't my opinion. That's not my words. I'm reading Rockology's post. As in the case of Bridget, when I professionally explained there was a very sizable error in the last check she owed me for several months ago for providing contacts for memorabilia, etc., and she had a minimal connection to the Elvis work, as she claimed to have had all along. She did not know the whereabouts of key artifacts, knew nothing about authenticating, nor knew Elvis people or high-end buyers. Thus, me being hired as a consultant authenticator, although she rarely listened on the latter as she didn't care as long as she was making money, I had to explain to her that Patsy Presley and Patsy Anderson are not the same person. This is one mere example of failing Elvis 101. And when I professionally requested to discuss the oversight of thousands of dollars she owed me, she went exorcist on me, claiming she was just diagnosed with cancer and was dying, and how dare I ask for money. Her husband backed her up on the story. Strangely, 2 days later, she contacted a known Elvis War memorabilia dealer. She professed to me prior that vehemently hated and told him was desperate for Elvis memorabilia for her auction, but couldn't deliver because she had a heart attack. Thought it was cancer. That story was told to me by the known memorabilia dealer. Strangely, people who know Bridget stated they have heard nothing about cancer or heart attack. I'll assume pathologically lying to avoid paying money owed in is acceptable to some people, or just simply a ploy, as she had my contacts at this point. Oh, and the FBI connection they are involved regarding Bridget Kruse, GWS illegally shilling and potentially fraudulent activity, the substantial amount of money that she owes me. I'm sure I'll never see that, but at least now you get to know the rest of the story. And there's a name, Stephen M. Schutz. So Stephen Schutz wrote this article, okay? Stephen Schutz. So look him up, guys. Now, I just want to say, I'm going to read some of your comments, okay? I just want to say, guys, this Stephen is obviously owed money. Stephen's owed money. So that can bring out the worst of people. I do not support not one word of what is written here. Everything that is written here is Stephen Schutz's opinions, not mine. We are a discussion show. We're bringing these things together these different bits of information. And then you guys, Team Elvis, make up your own mind what you think. Okay, guys? So I just want to, this is just an entertainment show of opinions and debate and a discussion. That's what we are here. Okay, let's bring you guys in. Okay, so let me just double check. Cool. I'll tell you what, I'm exhausted after that. I'm exhausted. Right, hang on. Let me just get your comments up. Right, here we go. Right. I need a 10-minute break for that. Look, there's a general thing here of wrongdoing, alleged wrongdoing from Bridget and from Priscilla. Yeah, because if Priscilla is getting involved in making money with Bridget with items that belong to EPE, items that are stolen, items from Colonel Tom Parker's 1990 collection that was sold to EPE, Priscilla's out of order. Priscilla's out of order. Right, so I want to read some comments. So one of our researchers, Amy, Auntie Amy, I think Elvis Presley Enterprises adds Priscilla to the lawsuit. They will have their ducks in a row first. Yeah. Yeah, so at the moment, the lawsuit is just Bridget. Yeah, isn't it? So, Emily, it's disturbing. I hope Priscilla is in that John Doe list. Let's have a look. All this was exposed in 2021. Everyone, this has been out there. Yeah, so what I'm reading is a 2021 Facebook post on Rockology. Yeah? So we don't leave that up there anymore, do we? That's right. So, yeah, Emily, you need a coffee. He won't speak on it. If it's not true. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, obviously, we're just a show. We're just sharing his views. So you guys have to decide for yourselves. Louis, excellent line. Even if it was disturbing or causing all kinds of emotions. Yeah, it is quite a tough life. Quite a tough life, but it needs to happen. So Orion, Stephen Schutz knows Elvis stuff. Yeah, okay. So I don't know about Stephen Schutz. Any information you've got about Stephen Schutz, please let me know, because I'm interested. I did let him know I was going to read that post out. I did message him and say, I'm going to read your post out. So I always like to show that kind of respect. So is there anything that we can add to this? Is there anyone here that would like to add something to this? Obviously, for it to all tie up, you do need to watch part one. Part one goes into the sale of the original sale of Colonel Tom Parker's collection, you know, and the ins and outs of that. It goes into the fact that Brigitte Kruse originally approached Angie Marquet and Elvis Presley Enterprises to let them know about these items. But then there does seem to be a change of heart a bit later, where she now, with Priscilla, allegedly, is trying to sell these items that are stolen, allegedly stolen. So then, you know, there's quite a few different things here. We've got the secret video footage of Greg McDonald speaking with Bridget. I think Kevin's there, her associate, I think. The discussion is obviously Greg McDonald trying to find people that will sell these items, even though there's a possibility they're not his, or they were given to him before 1990, before the sale of Colonel Tom Parker's items. Well, really, they're Lisa's items, aren't they? Let's face it. Colonel Tom Parker's items that he had at 1990, they were Lisa's. They were Lisa's. And Priscilla should have seen that as them being Lisa's. They weren't the Colonel's, were they? How could they be the Colonel's? They're Elvis's items. So Elvis girl there, Stephen is a top tier, highly respected in the Elvis world. Right, okay, a good, honest man. Thank you. Okay, I'm learning, guys. I'm learning. So I say this. I've got a few things to say. To the YouTube channel that has aligned herself with Bridget Kruse, be very careful. Be very careful. Remember, it's truth that matters here. Now, obviously, we as defenders, yeah, we have Elvis, Lisa Marie Presley, and Riley Finley Harper at heart. That we're there for them. Now, to the Elvis YouTube channel, the female, you are supposed to be an Elvis defender. You're supposed to be there for Elvis, Lisa, and the bloodline. And if you have aligned yourself with Bridget Kruse, the auctioneer, the businesswoman, she's not an Elvis fan. She may like Elvis, but she's not a fan like we are. We are true Elvis fans. You need to be very careful who you're aligning yourself with. Now, I'm sure Bridget Kruse has a nice side. She's a family woman, but she is a business entrepreneur. Money is very, very important to Bridget. Making money at any cost. Almost any cost. So you are aligning yourself with somebody that may have done wrongdoing towards Elvis, Lisa, and the bloodline. You're aligning yourself with someone who helped Priscilla go against Lisa's wishes, against Riley, Finley, and Harper. So I nicely and respectfully say to you, be very careful with Bridget. Now, to Bridget, I want you to understand that I'm speaking about you from the point of view of an Elvis fan, a Lisa Marie fan, who fully supports Elvis's grandkids, Lisa's children. There's no hate in me. I don't have it in for you. But we do need clarity. We do need all the facts out there. If things have gone on so that Bridget can make money that are damaging to Elvis and Lisa and the bloodline, it has to stop. So obviously the lawsuit with EPE concerning these auction items, and there's a possibility Priscilla may be brought into that lawsuit, that will play out. We still are keeping an eye on, we're keeping an eye on the lawsuit, the original lawsuit, Bridget Kruse saying that she's owed money because of these contracts that were signed between Bridget and Priscilla. Then you've got the counter-sue, the elder abuse, what went on there, what Priscilla's thinking is. She's saying she got ripped off, conned, all the rest of it. So even that is worrying, isn't it? Even the circumstances of the elder abuse, it does seem there's a possibility of wrongdoing within all that. Yeah, power of attorney, 80-20 on the deals, you know, it's all worrying, but it is all about money. Okay, I think we're going to wrap it up. So let me just read the comments first. He's incredible. Just wrote a book on authentication of autograph. He's been in Forbes magazine. Oh, that's interesting. I can't believe I've never heard of him. But I'm just a fan at home. Come on, I'm just in my kitchen. What do I know? Louis, we're praying Priscilla is going to get sued. Well, she's being sued at the moment, isn't she? But I know what you mean by Elvis Presley Enterprises. I can't. I'll be honest with you guys. Bridget is only friends with the other channel because she allowed her in my gut feeling is that the reason Bridget is friends with the other channel, I need to be just, do you know what? How can I say it, right? You know when you're at school and you got the cool people that everyone wants to be friends with. I think that is how the YouTube channel sees Bridget. Oh, look, you know, she's talking to me. She's my friend. She's got this massive auction company. She's friends with loads of famous people. I think the YouTube channel wants to be friends with the cool people. You're making a mistake. You're making a mistake. And I think you're making yourself look silly. Just an opinion, guys. It's all icky. I remind the YouTube channel, you are supposed to be an Elvis and Lisa Marie fan. That's what you're supposed to be. An Elvis defender, a Lisa Marie defender. That means you should also be defending Elvis's grandchildren, Lisa Marie's grandchildren. Yeah? So if you want credibility, if you want to be taken seriously, defend. Defend. You're supporting the wrong person. You're making a mistake, but it's your choice. It's your choice. No hate. Remember, there's no hate with me. All the people that I have fallen out with, you know, the 3 YouTube channels that I've fallen out with, I forgive them fully. I have no bad feeling to them. Nothing. None at all. No bad feeling. I wish them well. But this Bridget Kruse situation where the fans were asked to send questions and with promises of telling us secrets about Priscilla, it didn't happen, did it? It didn't come true. We were encouraged to send questions. We were asked. We were promised that we were going to be told secrets about Priscilla, and nothing has happened. So it's fallen on deaf ears, hasn't it? So false promises to Elvis fans on YouTube. Yeah. Credibility is important, no matter what people say about me. Because I've been called every name you can imagine on YouTube. I am credible. I am credible. Yeah. I am an Elvis fan. I truly love Elvis, Lisa Marie, and the bloodline. And I will fight tooth and nail to expose the wrongdoing. But I won't be hateful, and I won't do it with hate. That is why I'm so anti-hate. We will do it because we defend. We defend for the right reasons. Never hate. Never hate. I don't hate Priscilla, but I will expose her. I will expose Priscilla's wrongdoing. Always. Always. Anyway, before I go, yeah, what do they say, Amy? Truth is like the sun. We have to do things the right way. We have to do things the right way. As I said, beginning, BK is not innocent, and she had, yeah. Deborah, you're right. She hasn't followed through with promises. Right, before I go, guys, have your say. So I want to turn that heater off. It's getting hot. Right. So, guys, before I go, do you want to have your say? Do you want to have your say? Is there something you'd like to say to Bridget Kruse in these comments, in case she's watching? Has there ever been so much as an explanation as to why the YouTube channel never got set up? Good point. Good point. Right. I think Amy has left me a voice clip. Amy, do you want me to play it? Amy, do you want me to play it? That's it. I'm happy to play it. Let's have a look. Here we go. Let's see if we can get it up. Right, so I just want to get a yes from Amy. Yes, go ahead. Right. In case anyone wants to know, Amy is one of our researchers. We have a few sources. Amy is Auntie Amy, one of our researchers. Okay, it's nearly 4 minutes long, guys. So I'm going to press play, and obviously we highly respect Amy. Yeah, remember Amy Collett has dedicated her life to defending Elvis and Lisa and the bloodline. She has literally spent decades doing it, and I take it very seriously. Amy does not do this for money. She does this for love of Elvis and Lisa. Remember that. Please know that. Yeah? There's no financial gain here. This is just for love. Love of Elvis, Lisa, and the bloodline. That includes Riley, Finley, and Harper. Yeah? So, okay, guys, let's go.
Hi, Louie and Team Elvis. Good morning. I'm catching up. So, as far as the Greg McDonald stuff, and I didn't catch the full live, the first one, because this one started. But it's important to know, if it hasn't been covered, and maybe it has been, that when Greg McDonald was approached about having these things, he said he didn't have anything original. He just had copies of documents. So that tells me a lot. You know, that's why his family, I think his child and possibly his widow or ex-wife, I'm not sure, that's why they're named in the lawsuit. Because he lied. I mean, it's obvious from and I don't want to speak ill of someone who's not here, but to say that, to tell EPE, I only have copies, and then he's shopping this collection around. Well, the people who could have paid him the biggest amount of top dollar for the collection would have been EPE. So why didn't he take it to them? Because he knew he wasn't supposed to have it, right? There's a video out there with Bridget and Greg talking. I don't know if that got played. And then there's a video of Priscilla talking about, oh, this collection was lost, like, you know, the Holy Grail, and we just found it and someone was keeping it from us. And no one was keeping it. They knew who had it. So then the question is, why is Priscilla not naming Greg? Why does Greg not want named? Do you all follow me? So if he's so innocent and these were his items aside from that 1990 acquisition, why is he not being named in any of this when they're talking about the sale in real time? Someone was keeping it from us and we got it back. Like she's some type of hero. So clearly Priscilla was in on this mess too, right? When I've gone through all this documentation for this lawsuit, I got it back in December, when Bridget was on a YouTube channel. In December, she had already been served with this paperwork, maybe about 10 days before. So that's important to note, because if you go back and watch that channel that she's on, she kind of laughs and says, oh, maybe EPE will sue me next. They already had. So, you know, I'm all for Priscilla getting what she has coming to her. But I also think, you know, the saying is that, what is it? The enemy of your enemy is not your friend. We can support everybody getting their justice. But if you're going to continue to take advantage of Elvis fans, make money at the expense of Elvis, and not be an authentic and honest person, then I have no space for that. And no Elvis fan should either, to be honest. It's embarrassing. So I think it would behoove a certain someone if they would possibly, you know, stay off of YouTube channels and focus on their legal battles. Not be worrying about exposing text messages from Riley on a YouTube channel like it's some gossip. And which that's exactly what it is. And maybe get smart and use the things that Priscilla has done in the past against her to win. If Bridget knows so much about Priscilla and has all this dirt on Priscilla, this should have been a cut and dry lawsuit from the beginning. And it doesn't appear it's going to be that way.
Okay, guys, that's Amy, our researcher, and Auntie Amy as well, one of us. Remember, Amy is Team Elvis. Yeah, we have to remember that. Amy is an Elvis fan, an Elvis and Lisa fan. She isn't just a researcher. She's one of us. Yeah? So, just before I go, guys, I want to thank Amy for her help at the end. Yeah? She's come in a bit late, so she may have to watch part 1 and part 2 to understand what we've been talking about today. I want to thank all of my other sources. I've had other sources give me information yesterday concerning this. Amy's jumped in at the last minute. But so it's been interesting, guys. So I think I've said everything that needed to be said. I think Amy has tied it up beautifully as well at the end. Amy Collett. Anything anyone wants to say before I go? Because I'm going to go make some dinner. I'm going to go for a run, do a dog walk. I'll probably do a dog walk live. I need a break. I need a break just to, because this has been quite overwhelming for me. A lot to absorb, a lot to take in. But it's done. It's in the bag. It's done. Okay, guys. Thanks, everyone, for joining me. I'm hoping to do one more live, but it will be much more lighthearted. It won't be anything to do with this. It'll probably be a Riley Q live stream. I'm hoping. But I will do a dog walk live. I will do a dog walk live. Good point, Emily. Okay, guys. I gotta go. Seriously, I gotta go. Otherwise, I'm never gonna eat. Ah, thanks. Thanks. It's what Elvis and Lisa and his bloodline are worth it. Are worth it. We're proud to defend. Proud to defend. Let's hope people listen to us. The people that we've reached out to in this live, let's hope they listen to us. Take our advice. Good advice. Take Amy's advice as well. Good advice. See you guys. Love you all. Of course, we defend with pride together. Team Elvis taking care of business.